Hello. Oh, this is the only video of the day, and it's only just still today. It's 11:22. So close call, huh? It's almost my last day. It's my last day tomorrow, and then I'm flying out on Wednesday to KL, staying in Kuala Lumpur for a couple of days, and then I take a 5-hour bus to the rainforest, and then I'm doing the rainforest. It's gonna be sad saying goodbye to the kids, but I think I'm ready. One of them is just coming back from fighting in the World Championship for Sanda Wushu Chinese boxing. They did not win, but I really like them, so I'm glad that they're back in time for me to say goodbye to them. The month felt nice. I could have done longer for sure, but I would like to come back. If I'm in the area, staying here for a bit would feel quite nice. And I'm not in a rush, right, to get anywhere. So, obviously the pressure of having to leave because of how long I've stayed here or I'm staying in Malaysia, but otherwise, if I'm around, I'd like to come back. Things to talk about. It's interesting, I keep adding things that I think about throughout the day to the bottom of my list, which means that those are things I end up talking about and sort of working from the bottom almost, and then never reaching the things at the top. Also, sorry, I realised in the last video, I'm scratching a lot. Just a lot of insect bites. And they're really itchy. Here. So, you'll just have to deal with that. Forgetting moments. Yeah, this one is such a weird one as well. It's like a line. Anyway, I was having a moment the other day, and I realized that if I didn't make a video about it or make a note about it, it was probably going to be one of those moments that you just never ever think about. Your brain doesn't commit to memory. And it made me think about how many memories that we make, or how many small thoughts that we have that are fleeting, that just don't get locked in, and kind of how inefficient that is, and whether there's a way to commit more of that to memory actively in the moment, or some other way, to just increase the amount you're extracting from life. Because I'm sure you still learn the lessons from those moments happening and all that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of little moments that I don't remember. And documenting them is one thing, but actually remembering them is a whole other thing. Will my life feel longer on reflection if I remember more of it? Is it even possible? I don't know, but I was thinking about that, and how much of a shame it is for those little moments to disappear and be forgotten. Just small thoughts that you have, seeing a lovely tree, thinking about how beautiful it is, and then just forgetting that tree ever existed and never being able to recall it. Or just never needing to recall it, and so it never coming back up. No, it just felt a little sad to me. Next is raising kids. This again ties into Captain Fantastic, which sort of sent me into some thoughts about this too. I, for a while, have wanted to, at some point, start reading about the current latest science on raising kids. Pros and cons, things to do, things not to do, what to avoid in order to achieve certain outcomes, and then make decisions about how important those outcomes are to me. But what's the current latest science on how to positively affect the upbringing of a kid, because I'd like a family, I like kids, and like why start learning from when I'm in the position to have one when I can start learning now, because it's still a topic that's interesting to me, so I think it will be a topic that I will find interesting to read about. Yeah, I'd like to see how much of my assumptions track, because having worked with even just these kids for a little bit, I realised I really didn't spend that much time with kids, so I didn't really understand how their brains worked at different ages and how to interact with them and stuff. Like, I'm kind of having to learn that, because there's not really been a time where as an adult I've spent lots of time with lots of kids. So it's it's been very eye-opening to engage with like an 11-year-old. I'll talk to a 17-year-old, I'll talk to an 8-year-old, and just get an actual frame of reference for like intelligence and social aptitude and empathy and that kind of thing, and how they clearly have different home lives, but even with a lot of factors sort of putting pressure on them in the same direction, some of them are naturally inclined in certain directions to a degree that is just like crazy obvious. And when you think about it at all, and you're like, yeah, people are built differently. Some people like math, some people like English, whatever. I don't know, it's one thing to sort of to know that in the abstract, like when you're a kid, or see the influence of their nature when they're an adult. But really seeing that push of human nature in a kid and their own nature is, I think, its own thing to experience when trying to understand how to teach, train, consider raising children. Yeah. Next is minimalism. Yeah, I mean, I'm living very minimally, and I haven't really felt like I needed for anything with the stuff that I have. Clothes-wise, I felt pretty great. Stuff-wise, I've also felt pretty great. If anything, I have slightly too much stuff, which is a crazy luxury to have. For example, I don't need any of my hair ties anymore, but I really like my scrunchies, but I'm not going to need them, so I don't want to chuck them. They weigh basically nothing, but I kind of have no use for them now, so I might just tie them to things, I guess, that I have. But yes, I actually have been considering, today at least, how to bring this kind of minimalism home to whichever home I end up at, and going even smaller with it, because I was already pretty minimal. My stuff really fit into like one box and one suitcase, and that was kind of it, which is insane. And obviously all my furniture, and I have kitchen utensils that I left in the kitchen, but my stuff and my clothes fit into essentially 2 or 3 bags, 2 or 3 boxes. And so I was already running a pretty tight ship. But yeah, I wonder how long I can go running this tightly, and how it feels. I've always felt like minimalism has helped calm my mind, having only things that I know that I need, or I'm going to need, or want, or I'm going to want, has always felt like the right direction for me to go in, and very natural for me. So I think I'd like to keep pushing that, not too extremely, but to its extreme for me, and see how far it still feels natural. Could I go further? Do I actually want to pull back? I don't think I do. I think I want to push it a little further. Like my big camera, for example, feels like a thing I don't actually want it with me. I just want a really good small point and shoot. Maybe a manual one, but the big camera just, yeah, anyway, I already talked about that. So yes, minimalism. I would like to see how far I want to take that. I think I might remove Captain Fantastic and Suicide from these lists because I don't think I'm going to talk about them. And then, also next places to stay I think I've already done. Yeah. Leaving soon. But I think that's good for today. Yeah. Fingers crossed that the Elephant Sanctuary gets back to me. They still haven't messaged me back, but holding out hope. Cool. I'll pack tomorrow and see how much my bag weighs. Try and get as close to 7 kilos as I can. I think I could do it. I don't know. We'll see. Alright. Catch you tomorrow.